Lacock Gullam. I'm not sure how many of you know what we do, but we're product designers. But we've been working in information environments for quite some time now. And a lot of what the projects I'm going to show tonight have actually been big collaborations with lots of other people, really. And it's really is from a product perspective rather than the graphic information side of things. But what I hope to do is show some of how what we do as product designers both responds to and has some effect on the information. Oh, and by the way, can you make it iconic as well? So I think that's where I'll start. Iconic design. Over the years, I've sort of developed a response to this because the left there, it's got vicious enamel, that's part of the first pilot, and the final system has glass. And every time someone puts a new sign up, they'd reinvent it because the old stuff didn't look so good and it wasn't wearing. I talked a little bit about sustainable function and this idea that if the product's not actually working, how can it live on, the signage? And if they're not trusting the signage, they don't use any of the systems, so its functionality is gone. But what it means is the moment it's interactive, you have a single user standing at a screen playing with something. Well, for me, most of the signage that we do is if it's in a place where it's busy enough that people are actually using it and it's worth putting the sign there. Having a queue of people queuing up to use it individually doesn't make a lot of sense. Here and in Ipswich, we have introduced QR codes so that people can actually link with their phone very easily to get information that they've drilled down. This is actually Bournemouth, which is made up in a very different way and has a seafront with lots of different character areas. Just the scale of the city, the architecture, the buildings, the width of the streets meant that we ended up with actually quite a lot wider, larger product than we've done in other cities. In order to help people understand the entire length of that seafront, the signs actually got much taller and thinner so that we could display the whole thing, which made it actually take on quite a different look. The signage system for the centre of London at that time actually be. A few days before the pitch, I actually went out on my bike and rode around the centre of London, snapping away at all the signs that I could find. And a little later on, when we'd actually won the job, we added a few more to this. And this number, there were 32 sign systems in the centre of London. This brought about something that I like to call the Shoreditch question. I think it's changed a lot now, but there used to be an assumption that it should somehow carry the city brand or logo. It was really about the people who were providing the signage system. And one of the things that I think over the years has been a challenge and a success in most places, we've managed to stop that happening, because what happens is that we knew that bus stops would become key in part of the whole wayfinding as a pedestrian, but they were completely linked systems. And the great thing about it is that it starts to bring a consistency to the system that for the user, you start to hand over from one system to the other and trust it as being information that's continuous. You know, not everywhere is different or so different. That's partly why we developed what we call the city lithograph. I think that if you stretch that bit beyond the brief to make sure that these things are relevant and can grow with the city, then, you know, it's a responsibility when you're working in the public realm. Thank you.